Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Everything EPL on Football Worldwide channel. I'm here, your host Mo, with my co-host Kaeman. How are you, my friend?
Not bad, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. We got a good episode for you. Lots of things happen in the EPL. Liverpool thrashing Man United 5-0. Chelsea 7 against Norwich. Man City 4. Arsenal 3 for my boy here, Kaeman.
Let's
He's
go.
happy over the
Let's
moon.
go. Yeah.
And packed episode. I'm not sure if Ollie is going to get sacked. They say he's not going to get sacked. He's not to be touched. But
That was after today, though.
Yeah, but that performance was absolutely ridiculous. There's one place to start here, right? Old Trafford. Kaeman, this was a thrashing, right?
Yeah. Oh man. From what, 5 minutes in?
Yes.
Yeah. Liverpool's a different league than Man U. And we saw that today. And it's not that Man United has bad players. It's clearly that Liverpool has a plan. Man U doesn't, right?
Yes, they came to the game. I think Liverpool came to the game with a plan. Man United came to the game relying on an individual brilliance from Rashford, Cristiano Ronaldo, who scored the goal but got ruled offside. It was a good finish, but it's unlucky to be offside. But other than this, they didn't do anything in the game. All I want to say is Mane was dropped. Konate started, so no Matip, no Gomez. They still did brilliant. Keita started, and he looked really good before that red card, before that injury.
Yeah, unfortunate to say.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything yet, but it was a terrible tackle from Paul Pogba, who, to be fair, and I don't want to talk about this a lot, he came to the game at 4-0. He's like, he's saying it to Ollie, you're bringing me to a game 4-0. What are you expecting me to do here?
Yeah.
Ollie starting McTominay and Fred in the middle of the park came in. We said it before, they are lacking a defensive mid. In that fourth goal for Salah, I think it was McTominay and Fred were like walking back.
Yeah.
And after the ball, like the couple of passes in the midfield and Maguire hitting Luke Shaw together, and then the ball is falling to, like, it's ridiculous, right? Like I think I miss said it here. Like it wasn't like this. It was just a ball. Keita, I think, playing it to Alexander Arnold. The fourth goal to Salah.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, to be honest. That both defensive midfielders just walking back. What do you think? Like, why Man United started the game 5 minutes in, they were good, and then it was just done. They didn't want to play.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to Liverpool coming at them hard early, getting some early chances and scoring off of them. It just totally sucks the wind out of you. And then, you go there, and whereas if someone like Tuchel or another manager, maybe they pivot, maybe they try something else. Ollie, we've seen time and time again, he doesn't do that. So as soon as they go down, he doesn't know what to do. There's not a lot of confidence coming from your manager, right? So there's no plan. There's no way to get back into the game. So they just sit there. I actually saw a stat. Man United has spent 141 minutes in the lead so far this league. And that's after 10 games. And for perspective, that's worse than Burnley, who's yet to win a game.
And that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's really bad. I'm not sure where to go from here. Where do they go from here?
They're praying for a transfer window, right? I think they need a new manager.
So we're not talking about transfer window for a player, because they already spent.
No.
They're spending 400,000 on wage for Cristiano. But
what I'm saying is that you need a solid defensive midfielder to play alongside like a Paul Pogba in a January transfer window. Good luck. But if you're trying to make any substantial changes before that, you're going to either significantly need to change your formation or you need a new manager.
But okay, so let me ask you something. Do you think a defensive midfielder will change the game for them? I don't, because I don't think so. I think it's a manager's issue, to be honest.
I think it is a manager issue, but the way they typically play is they play with like Scott McTominay and Fred right next to each other. And you need someone who's going to just sit in there, be a destroyer, and sit back and play alongside Paul Pogba, so Paul Pogba can get up and join the attack, right? Because right now they have Paul Pogba playing in almost like a pseudo winger position, which makes no sense because they're trying to get him on the field. And I mean, you saw today, you don't have Pogba on the field. They didn't have a midfield, right? And, you know, games where they did look good, or at times when they look good, they have Matic in there, but he's too old. So you need to get just a solid destroyer like an Ndidi type player, sit him next to Pogba, and go from there, right? I mean, what do you think? Like, what do you think is the solution?
I think the problem is
manager?
They don't come. Okay, Atalanta midweek, right? They didn't come to the game planned. It looked like, yes, they had a couple of chances, but they fell apart every time Atalanta put a couple of passes together. And that shows that the manager didn't tell the players. And I keep saying this over and over. The manager needs to tell the players where to be and what to expect. This is the manager's job. The player is not going to sit and watch the other team's game tape, right? Like, this is not going to happen, Kaeman, right? It's the manager's job. It's the manager's job to tell you that Salah's going to do this. Liverpool's midfield are going to press like this. Liverpool's fullback, they push that much. Salah does this. Like, it's the manager's job. And it looked like every time Liverpool bypassed that press, there was nobody to cover. So how are you as a Man United manager knowing that Liverpool can bypass any press in the world, telling your players to press that high, leaving the space behind between the midfield and the back line? They got ripped to pieces in that first goal, right?
Yeah. And press that high with Cristiano Ronaldo leading your press, it makes no sense.
I think he wanted to prove that I can press with Man United because the hate in the last week, and you read all the paper and you see all the social media, they're talking about, you can't press because you have Cristiano Ronaldo. So he wanted to prove that I can press with Cristiano. Right. You get ripped to pieces. You can't do that. It's a simple. You're playing with 10 men.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not pressing. But anyway, we have to talk about Salah, right? Like an assist, 3 goals. This is getting ridiculous. 10 consecutive games. Yeah. Scoring 10 goals already, I think, in the league. 15 goals in 12 games. 5 assists, by the way, is not only Salah the scorer, it's Salah the scorer and Salah who can assist goals. Sometimes he makes the game look so easy, that finish in the near post. It looks so easy, even though it's very, very hard to play the ball that accurate, to be honest.
He's got the most goals in all competitions for any Premier League team player. So he's in incredible form right now. You gave the shout that he's the best player in the world right now.
Yeah, I hear this a lot. Does it matter, Kaeman? It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
To be honest, it doesn't matter. What matters now is that his contract expires next season.
Yeah.
And they were trying to negotiate with him on a lower wage. But every time he scores now, his wage goes up 50,000 or something. Like it's getting, like, he's not going to renew for less than 400, 500K a week. This is not going to happen, right? Like, this guy's not slowing down. He's not. And if Liverpool can keep everybody fit, I think they can. And I said it last week, and I know that you pushed back on it, and you said that City is better team. But again, I'm going to say it. City, everybody scores in Man City. But they don't have, their X factor is Guardiola. It's not somebody on the field. But the X factor for Liverpool is Salah. What I mean by this is that you can put Mahrez, you can put Grealish, you can put anybody. They play the same system, City. But Liverpool, they have someone who will give you 20 goals plus this year. And I think sometimes getting titles, you need that player. Like Kevin De Bruyne. I remember Kevin De Bruyne when he was absolutely phenomenal for City. I don't think any, like, apart from Bruno Fernandes, apart from, I can't remember. Oh my God, Bruno.
What position?
Oh my God, how did I skip that? It's what am I?
Are you talking about Silva?
Yes, Bernardo Silva. I'm sorry, Bernardo Silva.
No, you're good.
His because Man United is still in my head, and Bruno Fernandes is still in my head.
Hey,
Bernardo
they're both
Silva,
Portuguese, right?
Bernardo Silva is playing phenomenal.
Yeah.
Everybody else is giving you a 7 or an 8 out of 10, but Liverpool, they have Salah, and to be honest, today without Mane, they showed that they can do it without Mane.
Yeah, I mean, Jota was fantastic. I think that's something that's really strong to Jota's game too, is his ability to play as a central striker out left. You can put him out right too. The dude's phenomenal.
He can do it, and to be honest, like Henderson today was absolutely world class.
Yeah.
And we're talking about dropping him before the beginning of the season. He was absolutely world class.
Yeah.
But this Liverpool team showed us today that it's a 3-horse race. Man United is not in this race. I'm gonna say here with you, and I want to pick your brain on this.
Mm-hmm.
Man United need to get a new manager before it's too late, and they are chasing a top 4 instead of, because Ole said we're chasing the title. No, you're not. I don't think you have the ability to chase the title. You're actually, West Ham are a better team. Leicester are coming back. We're going to talk about them later. And Tottenham, Arsenal, you might. I know that the squad is the third best squad, but the manager is not there.
Yeah, I agree.
They need a better manager.
Yeah, I mean, if they had a game plan, they were definitely title contenders, right? But time and time again, they have not, and it's really showing.
Yes. Okay. Stamford Bridge, 7-0. It was a walk in the park for Chelsea.
Yeah.
No Lukaku, no Werner, no problem. They absolutely, the job was done. It was great. It's, my voice is better now, I'm assuming.
Sounds good.
Yeah, yes. So, sorry for the first part, guys, for the podcast. The mic was not working really great. But anyway, Chelsea, you can pick your pick from these goals. 7 goals. Mason Mount with a hat trick is absolutely, it's crucial that Mason Mount gets back into form.
Yeah.
Because I think he's a difference maker for this team, the way he moves between the lines. So what do you think? Chelsea didn't play good for the last 2 games and they got the win, but this game, aside from Norwich being absolutely terrible, and I don't know what they want, Chelsea they were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea's incredible. You know, obviously Norwich probably isn't the test everyone's looking for, but it's good for them to see that they can shake up their lineup. And they're still able to just dominate these lower table teams, right? The only thing that makes me worry is that they still haven't solved the Lukaku-Werner problem. And Lukaku's not scoring enough goals to justify his price tag currently. But mind you,
he's gonna be out. He's gonna be out for 4 weeks. He's gonna be out for 4 weeks because of the injury that he picked midweek. But they have no striker now with Werner being out. But Havertz played there, and it's not bad. I think
Havertz does a really good job as kind of like this false 9, right?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. But did you watch the goals? Reece James's goal was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
That chip was world class. It's a really they play really expensive football when it's needed. Chelsea, when it's needed, they just play expensive football. And they can sit back like what they did against Liverpool. You know that Chelsea can do the job. They can do the job, and that what makes Thomas Tuchel is a top coach, right?
Yeah, I think like I've always kind of held this opinion. Whereas you've got guys like Guardiola, Graham Potter, who are very philosophy, even Jurgen Klopp for that matter, they're philosophy-based managers, right? And Thomas Tuchel brings something different, in which that excuse me, he is fully willing to adapt to every single game he plays, right? He can play different in every single game and get the most out of his team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely, like, I think it proves that they are going to get the job done. They're going to be there at the end of the season. I think so. I think it's, in my opinion, they're going to be there at the end of the season. It's not like Chelsea. I know people doubted them after the last 2 games, but you're 9 games, they're
top of the league. They only conceded 3 goals. It's the best defense in the league. Second best offense in the league after the 7, ahead of Man City, behind Liverpool. But I think this team is absolutely is gonna be there. I think so. Now to your team, Arsenal. This is, to me, it was the best 45 minutes, along with the Tottenham first 45 minutes that they pressed Aston Villa relentlessly.
So I think it was something about, it was the highest expected goals in the Premier League so far in that first half. It was like 2.54 in the first half against Aston Villa. But the 2 things that I had of note is switching to the 4-4-2. It was night and day. We looked so much better. And Alexander Lacazette needs to be starting every game. He's fit. And it's a tough situation for Arsenal because we're trying to move on Lacazette. They don't want to renew his contract because it's very expensive. But we might end up having to. I mean, he's phenomenal. His link-up play is second to none. Aubameyang looks so much better playing alongside him. And how about Emile Smith-Rowe, huh? What a phenomenal
Okay, so to be honest with you, I tweeted about this. Emile Smith-Rowe is a player that will give you everything you want in a midfielder. He assists. He's not shy to pick up the ball and run with it. He's not shy to go and ask for the ball and pass it first time. He tracks back. He defends. Like the goal he scored, I think this is one of the best goals because you do the intercept. I know it's a deflection, but you get the interception. You pass the ball and you run 80 yards.
Yeah.
You get the ball back, and then you're not shy to take your shot and score. It was absolutely, like, to be honest, it was great. It is something that I like. I just can't say how I am impressed with this guy. It's ridiculous how good it is, right? Like it was really, really good from him. They allowed Aston Villa to play second half. That goal from Ramsey was absolutely phenomenal, but it was too late.
Yeah,
but it was too late.
Unsavable. I mean, that was inch perfect, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. But Arsenal, I think this is what I don't understand. How do you play that good, and then next week you don't, and then the week after you don't play?
Yeah,
you play against Crystal Palace like the way they did, and then they play against Aston Villa.
I do want to say something about the Crystal Palace game. The 2 goals that were scored against Arsenal were against run of play. But that being said, you can't score in the first 15 minutes and then sit back for the entire first half, right? Like, if you start off dominant, you need to stay dominant. And I think that was a problem that shows the lack of maturity in the side and maybe the manager a little bit. And I think that's something that clearly was a positive sign today. Not today, sorry, this weekend, where you see that go up and then that pressure is constant throughout the first half, right?
Yeah, it's something that they allowed a little bit of play against him in the second half, but it was all good. Like, to be honest, it was not the worst thing. But you're on right track. I think if they keep picking up the point like this, I think they will start climbing the table. They are 3 point. They're 3 points behind the top 4, behind West Ham in the 4th position. They play. I think you play Leicester next week, right? Like, you play Leicester next week, but it's a
winnable game. It'll be a tough game though.
It's not a winnable. I think Leicester are favorite. They won 3 games in a row. We're going to talk about them in a bit, but I think Arsenal are on the right track. So Brighton, they are started dropping points. Okay, I'm talking about Brighton dropping points. It's kind of crazy. In my head, it sounds crazy that I'm talking about Brighton dropping points. But because of the start of the season, like, I expected Graham Potter to play better, to plan the game better. He tried to defend, but every time they got the ball, they tried to play from the back. And it works, right? It works. Yeah. But you can't allow City to pick up the ball and do a counter-attack, assuming that your defense is going to be able to stop Man City on the counter. They are ruthless on the counter, Man City. And he pushed about 7 players to go on the City half, and I don't think that works against City. 3-0 first half. They allow Brighton it was a 50-50 second half, but City are doing their business in quiet,
Yeah, I
right?
agree. I do want to push back a little bit to say that like the press on City doesn't work, because I mean we see Liverpool routinely. That's why their City's kryptonite, is because their high press is second to none, right? This is not to say that maybe it's fair for Brighton to expect to be able to put the same kind of press as
Yes,
Liverpool, right? If
exactly.
that's what you're getting at. But I mean, fair enough for Brighton for trying to play. But yeah, I mean, you see they tried to high press like Liverpool, not at the same caliber. And they try to play to the back like City, and they're not at the same caliber as City, right? But I mean, great team. If you're going to drop points, you're going to drop points to City, you know?
Yeah, but City, I get what you say. I think they are. I don't want to say the favorites to win the title, in my opinion, but they are with Liverpool, the favorites to win the title. What I see from City that I don't see from Liverpool is that their consistency in playing. They're very consistent. The way they play is very consistent. Every game is the same game. Even when they lost to PSG, they had the same game. They had chances. They do the same thing over and over again. And I think that what wins you all the games against the teams that are like, apart from the top 4, top 6, they win all the games. And that what makes them the team that is very consistent, because you don't see them play Liverpool, Chelsea every week, right? You see them play the Norwich, the Brighton, the Aston Villas, the Crystal Palace. And these games are very winnable for City. And I think that what makes them, in people's head, they are favorites to win the title, because Liverpool sometimes they drop, like what they did against Brentford, right? Like City, you don't think City would drop points against Brentford, but you can see Liverpool dropping points against Brentford.
And I do want to say this. You've mentioned Mo Salah as an X factor, and I think that definitely wins you games that maybe City not having an X factor doesn't, right? But at the same time, what happens if your X factor gets injured? You know what I mean? And the thing that City has is that any player on that field, besides maybe like Ederson, and even Ederson, you know, they get injured, they can play the exact same game plan with no problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, man, but that's what I said. They put Mahrez in, put Grealish, Foden. It doesn't matter who. Fernandinho, Rodri. Everybody will do the job.
Yeah.
Diaz, John Stones, Laporta. If it's the job will get done, because it's a plan game. Not, I know Liverpool, they have a plan and everything, but also the brilliance in Liverpool team is sometimes surpasses the plan.
No,
like,
for sure.
I'm sure that Klopp did not talk about Salah dribbling 4 guys in City game to score. That's,
you just do an L drag here, chop their center back twice, and then score. Yeah, we practice that all week.
No, but you see, City, the cross to the far post that you see every game from City is a plan.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying about the brilliance of Salah or Mane or somebody.
Sure.
Sometimes it's not in the plan, but it wins you games, right? Like it wins you games. Again, West Ham Tottenham. I'm not sure. I watched the game.
It was fine. Michael Antonio keeps scoring.
But to be honest, what was Harry Kane doing in that goal? He didn't even challenge Antonio. Like the ball is not dropping at Antonio's feet. What are you doing, man? This challenge with the ball.
Yeah, to me, this is it's a combination of errors for that, right? Like, why is Harry Kane ever marking West Ham's most prolific goal scorer on a corner, right?
Yeah,
like that's just a lapse in concentration. And then second, I don't care if you're the worst defender on the field, you can't let Michael Antonio get front side of you there and be directly onto goal. You know?
Can I even if he gets goal sided, just challenge with the ball, put your foot, push him,
I agree.
Do something, but not like it was so easy.
Yeah, I agree.
It was so easy.
How about that celebration too, the Matrix?
Oh yeah. I love me like Antonio, because Antonio.
I need to see a highlight reel of just his celebrations this season.
Yeah, he's a really fun guy to watch because he's not a troublemaker, but he scores goals and he works really hard. You would think that a big forward like this would be, but he plays in quiet, does his business in quiet, and I love Mikel Antonio. Is one of my favorite strikers in the Premier League, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I want to say something. Tottenham did not look bad the first half, but West Ham looked better equipped to do the plan or to execute the plan. Like they sat back when they needed to sit back. So second half, if you're someone who's watching the game and came second half, Tottenham had full control of the ball, right? But zero shots on target. Zero shots on target. It looked like West Ham knew what they were doing. Like, come at us and we'll pick you on the counter or on a set piece. And they did. And West Ham are fourth. People said that West Ham cannot do the business and cannot do what they did last season. And I'm telling you, it looks like as long as Antonio's fit, they can challenge for top four. They are I know that it's very hard to keep the same squad, but we play in Europe as well. But I think if Tottenham focus on the league, they can reach Champions League, because Leicester are not the same Leicester. Man United now are dropping. Tottenham are not the same. So I think it's West Ham's year to make top four, and it will be a great achievement for David Moyes, to be honest, building this team.
I think West Ham definitely can get top four. The place I'm worried, and that I've been worried, is Mikel Antonio is this X factor we've been bringing up today. What do you do if he gets hurt? You know what I mean? There's not an Antonio replacement on that side, and there's a few positions where there's not.
So they sold Haller, right? Like Sebastian Haller. Why don't you get a forward to back up Antonio in the January?
They need one.
Okay, they need one. We're there. We're challenging for top four. Let's get a backup for Antonio, because the guy is an injury prone. But I think West Ham are a brilliant team to watch.
Oh yeah.
Are a brilliant team to tactically. They are like really, really well drilled on the field. It's absolutely brilliant to watch them. And Tottenham, they're not bad, by the way. It's not a bad. I think Nuno is getting there. I think the team is getting there. I think they might not make top four, but they can challenge for top six. And I think it's not as bad as I thought in the beginning of the season, to be honest. And I said this here. Before moving on, I wanna say, please guys, make sure to like this video, share it if you can. And if you're listening to us, please rate our podcast in any platform you listen to: Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, and follow us on Twitter, Football Worldwide. You will see the Twitter on the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter if you want. I follow all the games, and I try to give my views are my own. So we try to bring you content. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Kaeman, another game for Brentford that they deserved something, but they didn't. Against Chelsea, against Leicester. Tell me about Brentford, who are very, very well on the field. They're playing great, but they're not picking up points for the last two games. But again, against Leicester and Chelsea, maybe before the season, they weren't expected to get points against these two teams, but based on performance, they should.
Yeah, I think it just says enough saying that we're both here saying they're unlucky to not walk away with a point here, right? That shows you night and day how well Brentford's doing in their first time in the Premier League for a while, right? Leicester, I think, was the second best team the entire game. I thought James Maddison looked horrible, but then again,
he scored.
Clinical on the counter, right? And you have to give credit to Leicester going forward. They were really lethal when they needed to be, right? Even if they weren't the best for 90 minutes, they held on. They only conceded one, and they were able to get goals when they needed to. And it's a strategy that has been working for a lot of teams, so it's going to continue to work in the Premier League. And if you can win games where you're not the best team on the field, that's huge for your run at the top four. But
that pass from Schmeichel to Iheanacho in the corner, spot on, and the stop from the control from Iheanacho was spot on.
This
is amazing, to be honest. Schmeichel is still
Yeah.
proving that he's one of the best goalkeepers
Yeah.
in this league. And
And
Leicester are climbing the table.
yeah, and I think Ian Archer was fantastic. The entire game. Not to say that there weren't standout performances, obviously.
Yeah, the league table looks really, really, really like compact between 4th and 10th. 17 West Ham to 14, 3 points between 4th and 10th. Arsenal are 10th. It's every win here can get you 5-6 positions up, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
compact. It's kind of crazy this year.
Mhm.
I think it's gonna be crazy between the top 3, and it's gonna be crazy for top 4, top
Oh
6
man,
position. This
yeah.
is gonna be an enjoyment.
No, the top
Yeah,
half of the table's packed.
yeah, I think, but I think that because the teams at the bottom are actually, I don't want to say bad, but they're actually like there's like 340, like Leeds, Burnley, Newcastle, and Norwich. They're really, really bad. Southampton as well, and it's actually helping everybody. But it's still 9 games in, and this is the quarter of the league. We just finished the quarter of the league, and they say that after 10 games, the league table shapes to how it's gonna look a little bit. Liverpool are the most impressive team this week. But before Liverpool, even though Chelsea won 7, but it was expected. It was not expected for Watford to win 5 against Everton
my god
at Everton Park.
No, I had Watford on like another one of my screens, and I just kept looking over the game. Going, wait, what? What's happening right now? It was wild to see. And here is me last week saying Watford is for sure getting relegated. Big points to pick up here. Not to say that Everton's looked the best, but they've looked promising this season, and to get smacked 5 goals against Watford is kind of incredible. What did you think of the game?
Dude, they had 20 shots in their game.
Yeah.
Just to say, their expected goal in this game was 3.11. It's phenomenal. They had 8 shots on target. They scored 5. It's phenomenal how they played. They hit on the counter, and Everton they were terrible on defense on the counter, but they ripped them apart. And Josh King hat-trick. I'm really happy for Ranieri, the old man. I'm really, really happy for him. I hope that he can do well with Watford, but the team is not bad. If you look at Watford, they're not bad at all. I know that they got thrashed by Liverpool, but hey, Man United got thrashed by Liverpool the week after, right? So you can't say. So let's call this game the start of Ranieri's reign at Watford, right? But okay, Everton now. I think they haven't won in how many games now? It's not great for them.
Yeah.
They haven't, like, it's not looking great, to be honest, for Watford. They won against.
They won against United pretty recently.
But they lost against Southampton. Oh, they tied United 1-1. It was 1-1. So they haven't won in 3 games. But to be fair, they faced West Ham and United, who are on paper supposed to be better teams. But to lose 5-2 to Watford, I think Rafa Benitez, he has to stop and look at what is he doing. Richarlison came in, he scored right away. It was absolutely brilliant goal. But you can't lose home to Watford 5-2. It's really tough loss for them.
For sure. And I think games like this happen throughout the season. Like, if this is their one game, fair enough. You see Chelsea get smacked by West Brom Albion. You saw Liverpool get smacked and get scored 7 goals against by Aston Villa last season, right?
Yeah.
One game like this, I don't think is anything to be really concerned about, but it's more the sustained performances that I think we need to have concern about. And if this trend continues, then they're in trouble.
Yeah. It's. I think they're not far from top 4, but the performances are they haven't been great in the last 2-3 weeks. So They played good against United, but again, they defended the whole game. On the counter, they scored 1 goal. We talked about it. But they didn't play great. They had a plan. They executed the plan. But against West Ham, they had nothing for them. Like today, they couldn't hold the lead twice against Watford. That's a worrying sign for me, to be honest. Newcastle picking 1 point away to Crystal Palace, who, again, Crystal Palace played really well against Arsenal, played well. They had 75, I think, ball position against Newcastle, but the goal was disallowed, the second goal for Benteke. They tied 1-1 against Newcastle. If you haven't watched the game, it was full of chances. Both teams, like Newcastle, defended and tried to play on the counter. It worked for them. But Crystal Palace, they were the better team the whole game, to be honest. They should have won this game, but it didn't happen for them. And again, another disappointment for Patrick Vieira, but they are on the right track. So what do you think about Newcastle? Is this a good sign for them?
It's hard to say a tie against Crystal Palace means everything, but it's a good sign that they're not losing here, right? I mean, going in this game, you expect them to lose, if I'm being honest, compared to how Crystal Palace has been playing versus how Newcastle has been playing. I guess one thing I wanted to ask you is, do you think Newcastle will be able to stay up this season?
It depends who's the coach, but people say the squad is not great. I disagree. I think the squad is not bad if you have Wilson, Callum Wilson available. But I think if you get a coach that can set the defense well and put everybody in the right position, I think they might stay up. But because the reason why I'm saying this, because the teams ahead of them are not playing better. Like Southampton are not better. Leeds are not, like, there's nobody running away. They are like Newcastle, they're 3 points behind Leeds. If they win one game, they get out of the relegation zone. It's not that far. Teams are not playing. I think I can say that Newcastle are in danger, but nobody is doing it. The team that I think is not, it doesn't look like there's anything in the horizon, because they're not even talking about changing the manager, Daniel Farke, in Norwich. This is the team in danger. This is the team that I say they might go down. But Newcastle, no. But and they have the money in January. If they can win a couple of games, or like get like 9 points in the next 9 games, just 3 wins, I think they can do it, because they're gonna spend money in January. But they need these points to be able to attract players, right? Last game of the week, Southampton, Burnley. I think, in my opinion, both teams are struggling to get any points, like meaningful points. Burnley did not play bad, but Southampton, again, they are expensive, and Burnley, they are direct. But both teams, I don't think they have the squads to get more points than where they are right now.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
What do you think about Burnley? Can they stay in this league? I'm not gonna say that they can't stay, because Sean Dyche gets the job done all the time. What do you think?
I think it really depends on who gets poached in the January window. If they can keep their squad, then I think they can stay up. But if they start losing some key players, they're gonna have trouble.
Yeah, like you mean Tarkovsky leaving, because Newcastle are saying that they're going to offer some money for him, and he might go because he's not on a big contract with Burnley. But there's nothing to add about this game other than Southampton, again, expensive, playing good. You watch them, you enjoy Southampton.
Yeah.
You watch Burnley and you think this is the direct team. This like Cornet scored 2 goals, great strike, that second one, but 2 goals from open play. This didn't happen for a while. Like, they didn't happen this season. They scored only 1 goal from open play this year. This 2 goals from open play. And I'm not sure. They need to play better, like, not better football. They just need to get away from that long ball, hold the ball up top, try to play crosses. I know that this is Sean Dyche's way of playing football, and it keeps them in the league, but I don't think it's good enough this year. It might not be good enough this year to stay in the division, because even Crystal Palace are playing better than before. I know that Roy Hodgson was doing great with them, but I think now Patrick Vieira, I can see what Patrick Vieira is trying to do. They have an identity now. The last game is Leeds and Wolves. This game, Huang scoring again. So what do you think, Leeds? What do you make up of Leeds this year?
I think they've just been discovered. The way that Bielsa plays, there's a few problems. I think they've been discovered. Their game plan, they're going to play this extremely high-flying, end-to-end. But the problem is that it keeps them open, right? And defensively, they're going to get run through. And another problem they have is that the demands that style of playing puts on your players with a not very deep squad means that people are going to get injured, and we're seeing that. And the problem with Bielsa keeping a small squad and running them into the ground is that you don't have good second or third options, right? So when your main goal scorer from last year, Bamford, is out, when Calvin Phillips are out, there's holes, and your team does not look the same. And we see that. We saw that today, this weekend, right? They just didn't look incredible. And guys like Rafinha are being asked to do way too much, you know? And they had more possession, but we expect that. And to be fair, I think Wolves was poor not to kill off the game. Great goal from
Wong again, But yes, I saw they should have killed off the game, but the penalty was a penalty in the 93rd minute. It's the correct decision. But again, Leeds are not picking enough points, and I fear for them, to be honest. I know that people say Leeds are going to be safe, but again, a lot of teams said that before, and they weren't safe. I remember Bournemouth said that, and they were not safe at the end of the season. And you need to pick up points because, as I said, 7 points are not enough to keep you at this 9 games. 7 points is not enough. We have a couple of really important games, I think, next week, Kaeman. The Spurs Man United game. I think this is, if Man United lose this game and other teams win, they will be dropped they might go to 10th, or not 10, they're gonna go 8, 9, and it's gonna be, I don't think it's gonna look good for the management sticking by Ole then. But is okay, I keep saying this every week, Kaeman. Is this the game that if Man United lose, we talking about Ole out?
I mean, I think we're talking about that right now, right? And I think Manchester United are trying to keep him. They're trying their best. But yeah, if they lose against Tottenham, it's going to be really hard for him to keep his job, I think.
Who's favorite for you?
For the Manchester United managerial role?
The Spurs Man United game.
The game. I want to say Manchester United, but I mean, we saw it last season, right?
Yeah.
Spurs are capable of tearing Manchester United apart, so we'll see.
I think Spurs are in better position right now. I think Spurs are in better position to win this game.
Yeah, Pogba will be on a red card too.
Yeah. Yes. So, which makes by the way, he makes a big difference in the team. Yeah. But I want to see Sancho play.
Yeah, it's to spend $100 million on a player and not, mind you, he is 0 goals, 0 assists in the past 10 games. But to be fair, I think that says more about how poor the Man U system is right now than the quality of the player, right? I mean, because it's not that he's the only one not performing. I think there's a litany of that squad not being able to perform because of how Ole has them set up.
What about Leicester and Arsenal?
Honestly, no bias. I think Arsenal can do it. But that being said, Leicester has been a problem this season. I think Iheanacho, I think Vardy are both in great form. But I do think if they might not start Maddison, but if they start guys like Maddison, I think they're exposable in the counter. I think defensively they're pretty beatable. Whereas I think Arsenal's shown a little bit better defensive numbers, at least with the core back four we have grouped right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see in that regard. But for me, Arsenal's the favorite just because I think Leicester's back line is a little bit more exposable.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think Leicester, they are better. I think Leicester have a better squad, but again, it's an open game. I think, and it's a 50-50 game for me. It's a 50-50 game. So Kaeman, I'm not sure if I'll be here next week. We'll see if I'll be here to do the show next week. But that's it for today, guys. I want to thank Kaeman, as always. Great insight, Kaeman. Great talking to you about Premier League, to be honest. It's
great insight.
always,
I don't know if I deserve that much credit, but I appreciate being on here and sharing my opinion.
I want to thank you so much for coming and helping me, and this has been great. I can't believe that we're 10 episodes in. This is our 10th episode. This is great, guys.
Oh, wow.
It's very good that everybody that tuned in, and I still want to say that like the video, comment, help us expand. We're doing this for everyone, and thank you, Kaeman, for coming.
It was a pleasure, man.
And thank you so much, everybody, for listening, and hopefully we'll see you next week.